In listening, the two things that struck me right away were the speaker's disappearing act and the low level of cabinet coloration. The imaging, even under the less than optimum conditions they were operating under, was quite fine. And there was this sense of purity as though you were hearing the driver talking for itself with little influence from the cabinet. Now this might not be considered unexpected performance considering it's a small speaker with a highly engineered cabinet, but it's unusual to hear nonetheless at this price point. The speaker did pretty well even in the living room environment, filling this larger space well at reasonable levels of playback. The soundstage was especially noticeable. It did not have the height illusion that a planar or physically large speaker can conjure, but the rest of it was quite fine, befitting the way the particular recording was made. Of course, no small speaker will produce prodigious bass, and that's true here. So with the obligatory bass disclaimer out of the way, we can look at what this speaker excels at. There's an overall sense of transparency, as though you can hear through the speakers to the essence of the recorded performance. This comes from a number of attributes. The tonal balance is quite good, the limited bass extension is balanced by a less than insistent treble, and a generally flat mid-range. I say generally because there's not quite the mid-range smoothness and neutrality of something like the Harbeth P3 ESR, for example, but the competition's close. Where the KEF trumps the Harbeth is in the lack of cabinet fog, which allows clarity and detail the Harbeth can't quite muster. The other contributor to the sense of transparency is the sound field of the KEF manifests, which is a result of the concentric driver and the lack of sonic contribution of the cabinet due to its relative lack of resonance and its carefully radius shape that discourages secondary radiation from the cabinet boundaries. The cabinet quality here really can't be overemphasized. This is actually quite a thing to hear, to realize how much of what we're used to hearing in speakers is an artifact of cabinet radiation and diffraction. Of course, in general, small speakers tend to have a certain clarity. Their small size steers what resonances there are to frequencies where they can do less harm relative to a larger cabinet and provide a smaller surface to radiate the result of the resonances into the room. But the KEF shows what more can be done with sophisticated design, even in the context of a small speaker. And kudos for the KEF UniQ driver too. Making a generally flat driver is not easy, and making a frequency flat concentric driver is even more difficult, but the UniQ is quite a good driver as these things go. Overall, the KEF strikes me as an excellent product and something of a classic. It brings many strengths to the table and few weaknesses not directly related to its small size. It would seem the UniQ driver has come to maturity. All praise to KEF for a fine accomplishment. That's it for now. Thanks for watching abshowrooms.com.